Good evening, chosen ones. Welcome to Virtual Beelzebub TV. I am your host, Beelzebub, and welcome back to the pit. So, I am in a good mood today, folks. I finally found the original artist for some art that I colored in, which means I can finally share it with the world. Uh, and share my experiences with this character and credit the original artist, which I couldn't do before because I found this image on a random form with no credit to the original artist. So now that I have it, let me first do that before I get in to this NPC that I have created that I want to then pass along to you. So, by the way, find me on Twitter at DeBlueman1 or just search Virtual Beelzebub. So Vel Mini at Vel Ministria. I ain't gonna try it. But she created this artwork, and I thought this looked really, really cool. I think it's like a she intended to make a Beholder girl based on like take the idea of a beholder and make a girl that's based on it. But honestly, I feel like this works so much better as like a duo, like a tag team. So rather than just and I thought, this is really cool, but it's all black and white. So I found this individual, and I let him know, like, I found your art, I colored it in, I used it in the whole last campaign, and now that I found you, I just want to say hi. No bullshit, this happened minutes ago. And so this is what I created. I colored it in. I'm like, okay, dreadlocks, obviously a African American character. I decided the robes look kind of cleric-y, so I put a little glow around them hands, some rosy cheeks, and then I decided, well, the beholder, like after I came up with the color scheme for her, which was relatively easy to do, I then applied the exact same color scheme to the beholder. I'm like, okay, match the blush, match the skin tone, and you know what? I decided to go with red on the robe, so let's go with red eye wraps. Okay, so that's what I did. And then step 2, I need stats for the characters. So I gave the girl, I pulled up the pre-stat block, and I reduced her HP to 5 because she is a child, and I reduced her armor class to 10 because she's not wearing a chain shirt. She's just wearing robes. But aside from that, I left the rest of the same: strength 0, dex 0, wise and intelligent and charismatic for her age. She's precocious. And all the spells that come along with it. Now, I did not give her a mace in the story, and instead just spammed guiding bolt and spiritual weapon. I feel like it didn't make sense for this character who didn't have a mace in the artwork to then just have a random mace. So I completely got rid of the mace, the armor, the extra HP that comes with being a D&D monster. So I actually stripped down the priest, and it's probably like dropped it from like a CR2 to a CR1 character by removing all of this stuff. And then for this baby beholder, I decided to use a spectator as the stat block because it's a similar vein. It's a beholder kin, but it's still got these eye rays, the bite, the magic. And so basically the way I had it set up is basically they have a symbiotic relationship. She's a priest, she's a healer. If the baby beholder or spectator or whatever gets injured, then the cleric can go ahead and heal the monster. And the monster can not only protect her from damage, but also create food and water. So she heals the spectator the baby beholder goes into battle and creates food, and she just heals your boy, or your girl actually, up after the battle. So I went with Dorothy for the beholder and Dot for the girl. Dot is a nickname for Dorothy, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. They have similarities. Let's give them similar names. So Dorothy the Baby Beholder and Dot the character. And I decided, okay, these are both young characters, so that's why they need this partnership to survive. Both of their parents died. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Beholder lore. I don't know how they come into being, but I'm assuming they have a baby stage at some point. So yeah, I just kind of ran with that. She's an orphan. This is a monster. It's a hectic world out there. You gotta stay alive by any means necessary. And so I actually ended up implementing this in my what was it even? It was my it was Ravenloft. Ravenloft. What is it called? Was it called? I'm so stupid. What is the Ravenloft campaign called? Cursive Strahd. Oh my god. I can't believe I forgot Cursive Strahd. Well, that's not smart. Anyway. So, Cursive Strahd. And my face appears to be stuck in this expression. Oh, wait. What? Hold up. I didn't know I could do that. Hold on. My face can get stuck if I hold down the number. Never mind. It's not important. Just figuring out the. I just figured out a feature on my keyboard that can help with my VTuber model. I can lock an expression in place. That's cool. Anyway, what was I talking about? I've completely lost the plot. What am I looking at? Oh yeah, right. Baby Beholder, Dorothy and Dot. So in the Raven, what's it called? Cursive Strahd. So my Cursive Strahd campaign was the first campaign I ever ran, and it went completely off the rails. Between party members being, players, they took things off the rails, and I have severe ADD. So my own storyline went off the rails. Honestly, 50% of the campaign with a 10% margin of error had anything to do with the actual module. Everything else was like my homebrew. None of the characters acted like how they were supposed to in the book, except for maybe Rictavio and Straw. It went so far off the rails. But in this campaign, Rictavio was, as he is in the module, is a magical person with magical items, magical powers, etc., etc., etc. One of the magic items he gets his hand on that I homebrewed is, I called it the Dimensional Rapier. Basically, it's just an ordinary +1 rapier, but with the added bonus that if instead of thrusting with the rapier, you slash, it cuts open a tear in reality, which can either lead to another dimension, or just an opening in space-time that leads to the space between dimensions, where the astral dreadnoughts live. Which, let me show y'all that real quick. Astral dreadnought. Keep in mind, I capped this campaign at, level 8, and there was a possibility of running into one of these bastards. Let me just open it up so you can... God, why is that such a low-resolution image? Garbage. Garbage! Anyway, you get the point. All these images. There we go. Yeah! So, yeah. This rapier could cut open the space between dimensions where the astral dreadnoughts lie, and one of these, CR20+ creatures could just swoop in. Obviously, no player is dumb enough to let that stay open, and obviously use their magical powers to close it in the nick of time. But just a threat to hover over their heads. And the way I intended that rapier to work is if they use this rapier, and they said they thrust with it, it would work like a normal rapier. If they said, I slash with my rapier, because I'm so tired of people saying they slash with a rapier is a thrusting weapon. Rapier. Okay? Rapier. Does this look like a slashing weapon to you? Does this look like something you hack with? No. Every time they like, I slash with my rapier. Well, now there's a portal to the space between dimensions, and you're gonna get ate. And then be like, oh shit, and they'd have to basically make an Arcana check to close the portal. I made it super easy to close these portals because I didn't want this fucker to actually come through. Basically, everyone made an Arcana check until someone succeeded and then it closed. But just to, throw that out there. And the reason that is relevant, why me completely going off the rails and including an astral dreadnought and a dimensional rapier is important, is that the problem with Ravenloft, with Curse of Strahd, is that Strahd exists in a pocket dimension. Like, once you get to him, like, Barovia, where he lives, is its own pocket dimension, and you cannot, you basically can't leave without his say-so. With the exception of the Vistani, such as Madame Ava. Everyone else is kind of just friggin' stuck. So I was like, I introduced the Dimensional Rapier, not necessarily just to punish players for saying, I slash with my rapier, but also to introduce some characters that weren't in Barovia, didn't make sense for them to be in Barovia, but had these NPCs come and go at will. One of those NPCs were Dorothy and Dot. Basically, cut open a hole in space-time, Dorothy and Dot come in to the story, and now the party has a free cleric and a CR3 spectator to help them out, because I capped their levels at 3 and raised the difficulty of the campaign to such a degree that they were at a very high chance of dying, and then I retroactively went, oh, wait, they don't have a cleric, and I made this game much harder for them, and they're going to die. Let's give them some strong allies. And I basically made Dot like the emergency HP restoration, and I made the beholder, or spectator in this case, very like finicky and picky, kind of like Ash's Charizard, where it only fights when it wants to. It's kind of lazy. It only really listens to Dot. So unless she specifically tells it to attack, it's not gonna. So basically, it's not something that they can use and abuse. It's a emergency backup for parties getting their asses handed to them. And I had Dot with her own plan. She didn't want... so when they first used the rapier and she came through, the party didn't... she didn't know these people. She didn't want to be in this dimension, so she's trying to get out. And the party didn't really know much about her, and they were like, oh god, that's a beholder. I want nothing to do with that. So they kind of went their separate ways, and it was kind of just a convenient NPC duo that I could throw in as like an emergency, oh god, they're dying, the cavalry needs to come in, here they come. And it wasn't until after they started dying that I threw them in, the cavalry comes, and they're like, you owe us big time to go on the side quest so we can go back home. Wait, you're super powerful, stay with the group. No, I want to go home, blah, blah, blah. And it was its own whole thing. The campaign was completely off the rails. But yeah, basically, I just had a lot of fun with this NPC. This just little girl who doesn't want to be in this dimension, who just kind of got stuck in Barovia of all places, arguably the worst place in the Forgotten Realms. And she's it's entirely the party's fault, and she wants to go home, but the party wants to keep her because she's got a pet baby beholder, and she's a cleric. So I had so much fun with this character, and just the reaction when everyone found out that there was such a thing as like a domesticated beholder. It was so much fun. Such a good time. So I wanted to shout out because I colored this in, but obviously all the credit goes to Velmini. So yeah, go check her out on Twitter. And yeah, that's all I really... Oh, did I forget to... There we go. I forgot to like it. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to ramble incoherently about something that made me happy swimming. Bye.
Pack up your sins and go to the devil in Hades. You'll meet the finest of gentlemen and the finest of ladies. They'd rather be down below than up above. Hades is full of thousands of Joneses and Browns, Houlihan's, Cohens and Brady's. You'll hear a heavenly tune that went to the devil because the jazz band started picking it, put a trick in it, a jazzy kick in it. They've got a couple of old reformers in heaven, making them go to